All right, so today we'll be discussing about annuities. And before I start with the workshop 2 today, do you guys have any question to ask me? Any questions for me, guys? No? All right then. Okay. The topic we're gonna cover today is are these things. What are the various types of annuities? So these are the topic we're gonna cover today. What are the various types of annuities? Then we'll talk about how do we value various types of annuities at different points in time. Then what is loan amortization? What is perpetuity? And how do we value a deferred annuity? So these are the 5 topics we're gonna cover today. All right, so stop me anytime when you don't understand me or anything that you want to draw my attention on. It's better now. All right, now let's talk about what is ordinary annuity. Okay, that's our first thing we're going to talk about. So as you said here, an annuity is a number of equal payments made at regular intervals, like every month over a fixed term, a number of years like this. So when you say, sometimes you'll see that equal payments you're paying for every time. Some of you have taken car loan or home loan. So what we do, you actually pay every month, we make the payment. Okay. So this falls under the annuities or different type of annuities. So it depends on what type of annuity fall into. It depends on how are your payment been organized. How do you make the payment on what conditions you make the payment. So it says here. So ordinary annuities are like ordinary annuities involve payments made at the end of each compounding period. When you make the payment on each at the end of, so that's the point, at the end of each compounding period. So you see at the end, this is the thing is here. Okay, at the end of each compounding period, that will be known as ordinary annuities. Here it is, ordinary annuities. So that will be at the end of each compounding period. Okay, the formula we're going to use is this formula. So this is the formula we're going to use. Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger so you guys can. Is it big enough or you want me to make it a little bit bigger? Can you guys see this?
I think it's enough. I think it's visible.
Okay, you guys can see it's enough. Okay, good. So this is the formula we use. So look, last week we talked about present value and future values. We talked last week, right? We talked about present value, future value. What we told there is that like the value of money, it is actually the current value of money is higher than the value of future money you're going to receive. So when you look at future value annuities is equal to payment into summation of 1 plus I to the power t minus 1. Okay, it means that you do the payment multiplied by 1 plus I is interest rate, n is number of years, and t which is equal to 1, and how many times you make the payment. So now, not necessarily it will always have to be years. If you make payment, monthly payment, and could be number of months. Okay, it depends on that. So going back to in here. So let's say payment is equal to payment for each period. Let's say yearly, this says here. It could be year, it could be month, it could be week, it could be fortnight, it could be, let's say, quarter as well. Okay. So payment period is compounding periods. That's what they mean here. Payment periods are compounding periods. So like we said that that interest rate compounded monthly, interest rate compounded annually, like this. So it's whatever it is, that's what you have to do. So like they say that if payment period is not equal to compounding period, let's say quarterly payments, weekly compounding, we have a general annuity, which we will not consider in this unit. So we will just talk about here only yearly one. Okay. This is future value of an ordinary annuity after n periods, of number of periods, denoted future value annuity. When you see A at the end, that means annuity. Okay. future value A at the end, you see that that is annuity. The sum of compounding amounts of all payments till the end of nth period. So you see when you add up all of them, all the payments like $650 every month, add up for the next 60 months you are paying. It means 5 years. Okay. So that time your interest rate will be different because yearly interest and monthly interest rate will be different. But how are you going to actually calculate that? So yearly interest, you can actually divide it by 12, then you get your monthly payment, monthly interest rate. Okay. So now notice here, this says payment. Okay. So look, future value annuity will be equal to payment plus, you see, payment into 1 plus I. That's very interesting thing to notice. Payment into 1 plus I. Okay. Let me show you in a better way. So let's say here your payment is $1,000. $1,000 is your payment, and you multiply it by 1 plus I, which is, let's say, your interest rate. Let's say interest rate is 8%. Yes, please. Tell me. Someone try to tell me something? No? Okay, all right. So 1 plus 8%, that's how they mean. So what does it gives you? That's a very interesting thing to look at. Is equal to, look at here, 1 plus 8%. Here you will say this. 1,000 multiplied by 1 plus 8% means 1 plus 0.08. If you remember last week I said when you calculate the interest rate, it will have to come in decimal points. It will have to be decimal points. Even if we said here 8%, look, I converted them into 0.08. Okay? Yes. So you see here that you can say here is equal to another interesting thing. You look, if you multiply these things now, it will become 1,000 plus. Now you see 1,000 into 8%, which will be 80. So 1,000 is your principal amount and 80 is your interest. Make sense? So this is the case here I wanted to show you here. Now going back in here. So 1 plus I, when it is 1 plus I, and look at here, we do not have any power on top. In fact, it has a power on top. So look, when you go for this one to the power 1, for example, if I put it like this, it will have equation and here to the power 1. Okay. To the power 1. All right, so you see, this one has a power on top, 1 at top. Okay, that's why we don't show you here 1 because it's always there. To the power 1 on top it has. Since 1 remains the same, that's why we did not show you here 1. But second year to the power 2, third year to the power 3, fourth year to the power 4, like this, keep on going. Okay. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you here. So payment plus interest rate every year. Payment plus interest, payment plus interest, payment plus interest. So it's for 2 years. The money is in there for 2 years for payment plus 2. 3 years, payment into 1 plus I to the power 3, like this. So when ordinary annuity will come up, look at here, 0, we do not have any payment. See that? Why do not have anything on 0? Because according to our rule is at the end of each compounding period. So when you complete one period, 0 to 1, you don't pay at the beginning, you pay at the end. That's how we mean here. So it starts from 1 at the end. Make sense, guys? This is the reason this is called ordinary annuity. Okay? And the formula, you're going to use this formula. Now you can ask me, do we need to remember all these formulas? No, I think you will be allowed to give it, you will be allowed to take a formula sheet. Like I show you here, there is a formula sheet on here on the very first week. We showed you the formula sheet. You can see here. list of formulas, you see, list of formulas. So we will have our formulas in here. These formulas are already given in here, so you don't have to memorize this formula. We don't need to, but you need to understand the formula. It's not necessary that you have to memorize all these formulas. No. See, variable names and definitions. So you see here. So what does this mean? It's mentioned as simple interest, compound interest, annual rate. See, future value of ordinary annuity. The formulas are given there. Okay, present value of ordinary annuities. Formulas are given in there. All right, so you don't have to, not necessarily you will have to actually remember any of these formulas, okay? So, but you can understand these formulas. That's the whole point. All right, now let's move on. So here we say, another thing you can see here, that another one they say payment into future value IFA. What does it mean? IFA. IFA means present value interest factor annuity. That's what they mean here. Okay. So it means a future value interest factor annuity is equal to this. This is the formula. Okay. And how they calculated it? Look, 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I. This is the formula. Okay. Now you can actually go through and put all these figures in here and you can calculate it. Now see, when it goes in compounded annually, monthly, annually is okay, m is equal to 1. Okay. If it goes like compounded quarterly, m becomes 4. Compounded monthly, m becomes 12. Okay. That's how it goes. Now, this is the thing is your general formula, right? But there's another interesting thing is there. You see there is like payment into FV into 1 future value interest factor annuity. There is a table. Okay, you can straight multiply it with that number from the table. What this table means, let me show you what this table is. Okay, so it come from what this table is. Let me show you. So let's say future value interest factor annuity table. Let's say future interest factor, interest factor annuity table. Look, don't get confused. Always look for the annuity mentioned on the top. Okay. Otherwise, you might get into, I think, yeah, future value interest factor of annuity table. This is annuity table. But if it does not mention about future value annuity, then it is just the future value. Okay. So there are some differences. Let me see if I can show you this. This is on YouTube. Okay. Let's see this one. Present value interest factor of $1 compounded. So this is not the annuity one. See, this is not the annuity one. Bigger. Make it bigger.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's make it bigger and see. So if we say that 5 years, 8%, you just multiply to it, payment multiplied 5.8666. So this 5.8666 is actually equal to this. Look, let's see, this whole thing, let me show it in better way. This whole thing, okay, is your 5.8666. That's how it goes. All right. So you don't have to just put this, music calculator, those things. No, you just $1,000, for example, into, just put that figure here from the table. But you have to take it annuity table. The one I showed you here is actually, this one is actually not annuity table. This one is not annuity table. I can see that because this is future value interest factor of $1. Oh, yes, annuity. It's annuity compounded. This is annuity. Okay. So if you go in here to look,
Yeah, annuity.
annuity compounded at K percentage. Okay, it's K percentage. So it's actually yearly. Since they did not mention compounded percentage for a period, yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, 1 plus K. This is K. K is the number of K is I here. N minus 1 divided by K I. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just have to multiply it by 8%, 5.9%, 5.90. Now, if it says 8.5%, then you cannot use this figure, okay? Then you have to calculate it by yourself. Okay, that time which formula are you going to use? You're going to use this formula. You're going to use this formula. So 1 plus 8.5%, which will be 0.085 divided by, if it is monthly, divided by 12 to the power n is less than 5 years, 5 into multiplied by 12. That's how it goes. Okay. For example, what is the future value of an ordinary annuity with payment of $50 if I is equal to 0.05, which means 5%, and n is equal to 10? What will be the answer? Is 628.89. So, so ordinary payment $50. Okay, for 10 years. So it's $50 per year, 5% for 10 years. You are actually paying 628.89.
I have questions, sir.
Please, please.
Can you roll up?
Roll up, roll up.
Yeah. Yeah, this formula, the M is that the month?
M is, if it is month, M equal to 12. If it is year, M is equal to 1.
Okay. If it's a month and equal to 12, if it's a year, it is equal to 1. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. If M is equal to, if it says that interest rate compounded annually, M is equal to 1.
Okay.
If it says interest rate, here they did not mention anything. Compounded how? They didn't mention. So I will assume, because interest rate is normally calculated on yearly basis, right?
Yeah.
5% means that $5 interest of $100 in a year. That's what we mean. Percentage is actually on yearly. Unless otherwise they mention it's compounded annually, unless otherwise they mention compounded monthly or semi-annually or half yearly, unless they mention it. If they don't mention anything, it's yearly.
Okay, gotcha.
Good. And you see here, so they calculated these things, right? Now, what about if we do exactly the same thing by using our table? Okay, so this says here, 5%, 10 years, payment is 50, right? Let's try it. 5%, here is 5%. And where is our 10 years? Look, 10 years, okay?
578.
5%. It's 12.58578.
Yeah.
The future value, right? All right. So let's go here. This, what is the 12.578? Let's go here. So 50 into that one we're gonna do. So let's do it in the calculator. So it's 12.578, right?
78.
Yeah, 578 multiplied by 50.
Yeah.
628.9. So you see here, 628.89. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Would you mind showing me how to look at the table again?
Sure, sure. I will show it to you. You see here on the corner. Okay, let me make an annotation so it will be better for you. You see here, can you see the red point? That's the mouse, okay? Look at period. And here is the percentage. So period is at the bottom. So in our question this time, we say 10 years, 5%, right? So period, here is 10 years, 1%. Look at here, top 5. Let's go to 5%, 10 years, yeah. 12.578.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. All right. So that's how they calculate these things. Okay. And this says here, we can calculate the present value of a stream of unequal payments, valued of one payment period before the first payment period donated present. Now it's coming, now they're talking about present value, not the future value. Look, this is future value annuity is that formula. For present value annuities, different formula. Okay, for present value, different. The table will be different too. Table will be different too. Okay, so now you see here, present value annuity, payment into present value interest factor annuity this time, and the formula is different. Now, if you compare these two formulas, notice here, this is payment into one minus this. You see, in this case, look at here, 1 plus I by M minus 1. And in this case, 1 minus 1 plus I. So it's different, a little bit different. Okay. So here it is. Look at here, the present value annuity, payment into 1 minus I, and the previous one was 1 plus I divided by M minus 1. It is different. So I can actually take a, I'll take a screenshot here for you guys to look it nice and better.
So how do we access the table?
How to access the table? Just now I have done on the Google, like I said, the present value, future value interest annuity. You just type it in Google, you will find it. It's there.
So in the test, can we use it like?
In the test, I think if they want you to use the table, they will give you the table.
Oh, okay.
We don't expect you to remember these numbers, of course not. Okay. Let me show you better version, because definitely I'm sure you can find out in PDF. Present value, future value table. I hope they put it in annuity too, just not the present and future values. Look, present value, future value is different than present value, future value annuity table. Okay. Okay. Future value interest factor. It's not the annuity. Okay. Next page. Present value interest factor for annuity. See that? So this is the table you can use. This is nice, and this is a better version too. Looks nicer to me. Looks more clear. It's better. It's now much more clear. Now you see single cash flow, present value and future value table. So this one is future value interest factor, not the annuity. Remember that. Okay. Then if you go next table, future value interest factor for annuity. This is annuity table. The numbers are also different. You will see that. Now, if we go to present value interest factor, now you go present value interest factor for annuity. See? And you see the number. Look at the numbers. And the first one is 0.9901 for present value annuity, right? Now let's look at the future value one. 1. Different. Okay. So this is the table that I was talking about. So from this table, you can see the 4 of them. So present value annuity, future value annuity, 2 of them. Now let's going back to our, I don't need this anymore. Okay, now if we talk about the formula, you can ask me what the difference between these two formulas. I'll take this formula. I'll show you how the formula is different. This is the formula for present value annuity formula is this one. And now I'm going to show you the future value formulas. Formula. I think this, yeah, look at these two. Look at that, payment. See, 1 minus 1 plus I by M, right? Look at here. So 1 minus this, and here is this minus 1. Make sense? And look at denominator are fine. Denominators are okay. But in this case, it's different. You see? This two is different. There's a present value 1, 1 minus. Future value 1, 1 plus I by M to the power N minus 1. So minus 1 is 1 minus this one comes for present value at the beginning, for future value at the end. That's the difference. Okay, otherwise everything is fine. Okay, cool. Now let's move on to another example. What is the future value of, okay, we have done that. Now next one is about, suppose payment is $100, 5% and N is 10. Calculate the present value annuity. Okay, so $100. Look, present value of $100. What is the present value of $100 that you are going to pay for next 10 years at 5% interest, right? It is definitely, we can see it's more than $1,000. Okay, and I will show you very interesting thing. I'll show you here that look, for $100, yeah, $100 for next 10 years, 777, the present value. Okay, if it was future value, like let's go in here. If let's say here is $100, then it would be 578 actually, right? So it would be like $1,200. But here in this case, it is actually 777. Okay, so let's make it a little bit more clear for you guys. Very more clear for you guys in here. Let's say in here for using this formula. I don't need this. So present value, future value here. Now you can see here clearly the difference between these two. For the same way, I'm going to show you here the $100 values, what goes with present value and what comes with the future value. So here, let's say for the same $100, I'm going to calculate now. Okay, so it's going to be like this. You can actually say here that this is equal to payment multiplied by multiplied by present value interest factor annuity. Okay, and the bottom you can say here and okay. So the difference too. Now let me show you guys how it will be different. Okay, let me show you how it's going to be different. So payment into this, right? So the payment for, let's say payment for the $100, the 100 multiplied by, let's say the present value annuity for, let's say 5%. Let me write it down, that will be better. 5% interest
Okay.
payment of $100, payment of $100 in 10 years. That's our information. Okay, so it's going to be equal to, it's going to be 100 multiplied by 5% 10 years. Let's get to our table and present value annuity. 5% 10 years, 7.1078. See that? Okay, which is equal to, it will be 710.78. 710.78. That's the present value. For the same thing, we're going to actually do it for future values. It's not going to be 7.108 anymore. Future value is different number. That's what I want to highlight. And for the future value, let's go in there for future value, present value, right? So future value annuity is in here. Future value annuity, right? 5%, 10 years, 12.5779. So you can ask me like, why Muhammad is different in some books? It's not different, it's exactly the same, just a rounding errors. Like, you know what I mean? Like rounding errors. Like 12.578 if they go for 4 decimals, 3 decimals, 12.578. If it is goes like 4 decimal, 12.5779, like this. It's a rounding error, nothing much. So it's gonna be 1200. 1257, 1257.79. That will be the one. Make sense now? Look, for same $100, the present value today, okay, if you keep paying $100 for next 10 years at 5% interest rate, okay, the value it will be in future, the value will be okay. So presently the value is $710, which will be equivalent to 1257.79 after 10 years time. Make sense? So look, future value of this $100 you are paying for next 10 years, the value if you keep paying $100, $100, $100, $100 for next 10 years with 5% interest rate, it means you are paying 1257.79.
Excuse me, sir. Do you mind just for 1 second going back to the table? Just for 1 second.
Sure.
7 point.
Which table you want? Future value annuity or present value annuity?
5, 10. Okay, so this is the future value. Oh, got it. So
Right.
there's one for the future value, one for the present value. Okay, got
Exactly.
it. Thanks.
Okay. So it's a little bit different here. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are actually paying like $100 into 5% interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Every year. Now let's going back in here. So that's is it clear now to all of you? Okay. So let's say here, if an ordinary annuity, they said it means ordinary. When they say ordinary annuity, it means that payments are made at the end of the period. Okay. If an ordinary annuity purchased for 5,000 consists of equal yearly payments for next 7 years, and the interest rate is 8% per annum, it means yearly interest rate, compounded annually. See, compounded annually, it means
So
M is going to be 1. What will be the amount of each payment? Okay. So this says here that present if an ordinary annuity purchased for 5,000 consists of equal. So you actually your present value is $5,000. Okay. $5,000 is your present value. So this says that I want the present value to be 5,000. What should be my payment if the interest rate is 8% for next 7 years? They're asking you to calculate the payment. Is it a big deal? No, just change the formula. Just change it here. Okay. So present value is 5,000 given. What this you see this 100? This is the figure you need to find out. What will be this number? Just change the calculation. That's all. Okay. This is 960.36. We're paying like this amount at 8% interest for next 7 years. Okay, third one is 1 month after a 30th birthday, okay, an individual starts paying superannuation at the rate of $200 per month. How you saving? Like, look, superannuation you're paying. Like, this is very important in our daily life because we always do this type of dealings. We always do this type of dealings. If the superannuation fund pays interest contribution of 9% per annum compounded monthly. Interesting. Compounded monthly, M equal to 12. If the individual retires on her 65th birthday, the day of her last payment and wishes to take her superannuation entitlement in the form of equal monthly payments until she reaches her 80th birthday. How much will be each of these payments? Okay, how much will be? So what the try to understand it? On her 30th birthday, she starts to make the payment. Every month, she's paying $200. Okay. But she's saving the money in a super fund. She's saving the money in a super fund. And what's going on? The super fund pays her 9% interest rate. How long she is paying for? Look, 30 to 65. It means 35 years. And every month, so 35 into 12 and into M. Okay. Till 65 birthday. Okay. So yeah, and after that, after 65th birthday, she will retire. After 65th birthday, okay, she wants to receive payment from the company till her 80th birthday. Okay. So firstly, calculate the compound amount in the fund at retirement, the future value of the ordinary. So when you're talking about, you're actually at 30th birthday, right? At 30th birthday, she starts to make the payment. So we have to see at 65th birthday, how much money she'll be accumulating. So we are looking at future values, right? We're looking at future values we are looking at. Okay, yes. And so let's go in here. 9%, M equal to 12, because they are paying monthly interest rate. And it's 35 years because like I said, on 30, she starts to make the payment, and 65, she's gonna retire. She's gonna 35 years, payment is $200 every month. So how much she's accumulating? She accumulated $588,306.90. How did you get this formula? Look, payment into 1 plus I by M. So now the question is, you have to identify, is it a future value or present value? Look, she started the payment at 30. And she's retiring at 65. It's future value. We have to see at 65th birthday, how much money she has accumulated. So it's future value we are looking at. Okay. Secondly, from 65th birthday, she started to receive the money till 80s. Okay. Second, upon retirement, the individual in effect purchases an ordinary annuity with a sum where. So now she's going to actually do this. So on 65th birthday, she found she has this much money. Okay. At 9% interest rate for next 12 months and 15, and equal to 15. What is 15? So 65 to 80 is 15. In this case, she's talking about present values. Okay. Present value she's talking about. So the found our present value payment will be actually 5,967.50. It means that the monthly pension payment will be 5,900. So she's thinking that at 65 I'm going to retire. So how much money I'm going to get? So yes, so she has deposited this much money, which is on 65th. But let's say today is her 65th birthday. She checked her account, how much money she has. 588,356.90. That much money she has. So she's thinking, if I keep taking the money every month, okay, for next 15 years till my 80s I reach, how much money I can take from the account. So that's what it is. So you're talking about present values now. Okay. And we're going to calculate our payment, how much payment I will be actually receiving. So that's what she's trying to calculate, how much payment she will be receiving. So yeah, so payment is like this. And she's going to receive this much money. All right. Any question for me, guys, before I move on to annuity dues? Any question for me? No. All right. Let's move on. Annuity dues now. Annuity due is when the payment is made, the beginning of the accounting period, right? So here is each payment is made at the beginning of each compounding period. So in this time, we are going to actually check on that they are actually, the payment is made at the beginning, not at the end. When it's at the end, it is ordinary annuity. When you do it at the beginning, it is called annuity due. Okay. Okay. So in this case, look at here. Here, you see, the payment is started at 0 because they're starting at the today 0. not after 1 month or 1 year. Today, at 0, you start making the payment. Okay, that's what we call these are annuity due. Okay. So this is the formula we have here. And in this case, our formula is this. Future value annuity.
Excuse me.
Again,
Excuse me.
Mhm.
I just wanted to let you know that I'll have to leave this session right now.
yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the reason for that is because I just got an email. My campus has been changed. That's why my session, this is currently your week 2, right?
Very week 2.
Yeah, my session is going to start next week now.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I will, again, enroll this unit and my, session is going to start next week. But
Okay.
still, thank you so much for
Not
you
a
know. these 2 weeks.
May I know your name, please?
My name is Hamza. Hamza Abid.
Okay, all right. No worries. Okay.
All right. See you. Thank you.
See you. Thank you. Yeah. If the interest
care.
is compounded m times a year for any year, future value annuities. Look, annuity due, different formula. Look, annuity due, look at here, 1 plus I by m, because the payment is coming at the beginning this time. So this time it is different. Payment into future value interest factor annuity. It will be a little bit different. It's not ordinary annuity, it's an annuity due. But interesting factor is this. Look at here, 1 plus I by m. So this is the thing we have. But other things remains the same. So 1 plus I by m, you have to multiply with this number. This extra number you have to multiply with. Okay. But other things, these things are this thing is completely the same thing as it was before. But for annuity, we have when is annuity due, we have to add 1 plus I by n with the formula. But you don't have to worry about remembering this formula, because I told you that formula will be given. So don't worry about that. Okay. I'll recognize the expression in the square bracket as the future value of ordinary annuity, which has already been convenient formula. Okay. Because this is the formula that we already used in annuity due. Sorry, ordinary annuity at this formula multiplied with 1 plus I by m, you get the annuity due. That's it. Okay. Okay. So now, if you do let's do an example in here. It says, suppose we want to have a sum of $5,000 available in 4 years' time. We want to see that. I want to see that I have $5,000 available in 4 years' time. Okay. To achieve this, we decided to deposit an equal amount now equal to 0. Your payment starts from 0. At the beginning of next 3 years in a savings investment account, paying interest of 12% compounded annually. What should each payment be? Okay. What should each payment be? That's what they're asking us to calculate. What will be our payment? So you're making that for 4 years, right? So you're starting at the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't make any payment at 4. You made the last payment on year 3. Okay. So yes. So look at here. They mentioned here in bracket due. So we know that we have to multiply it 1 plus I. Why there is no m at the as denominator? Because this is compounded annually. You don't have to do anything with the m. Okay. All right. So how do we calculate this? So payment will be equal to, look, so that's just change the side. So payment will be equal to FBA due divided by 1 plus I. For the future value, because we want to see $5,000 in our account. We want to see $5,000 in our account in next 4 years' time. So future value is 5,000, n is equal to 4, I is equal to 0.12. So just put this number here. 1 plus I is 0.12. %, and is given 4. That's it. Extend the side, now you can get the so it's $934. You have to pay $934. Or you can use this. Look at this way. future value interest annuity, this table, you can get the figure from table 2. Okay. All right, so two type of things here we learn: ordinary annuity and annuity due. In ordinary annuity, we make the payment. In ordinary annuity, we make the payment at the end, and annuity due, we make the payment at the beginning of the compounding period. Okay. Now, amortization of loans. Okay. A loan, present value annuity, that is repaid by equal payments. Like normally I said you that, like when you take a loan, from car loan, home loan, anything, every month you're paying the same amount for next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Okay, that is the thing is present value annuity. That is repaid by equal payments over a number of periods, can be thought of as an annuity that is purchased by the lender. In this case, amount borrowed, I'm sorry, amount borrowed is equal to present value of the stream of payments. Okay. So when you talk about amortization of loan, you talk about loans, you talk about to that time amount borrowed. We don't do the payment, we do the amount borrowed. Present value of the stream of payments, how much you borrowed. Each payment can be considered as including an interest part and a part serving to reduce the principal. Like I showed you at the beginning, $1,000 is your principal part plus interest that you are paying. So like when you make one payment, let's say you took $500,000 of loan, $500,000 will be too much. Let's say you take a $30,000, you took a loan from the bank for your car. Okay, $30,000 you took a loan from the car. So now, let's say on every month you are making payment of, let's say, $500. Okay. After you make the first payment, let's say you made the first payment of $500. Look, you have actually paid the interest. $30,000 has been used by 1 month. You made the interest of this. You pay the interest, plus you also paid some of the principal amount. Let's say principal amount $400 you paid as principal amount and $100 you paid as an interest. On the second month, did you use $30,000? No. You used $29,600. Right? So every payment you make, you are actually reducing some principal amount. Okay. So that's what they mean. A part serving to reduce the principal as well, payback. Okay. So when you calculate this type of things, you're talking about loan amortization. We're talking about how you amortize your loan. So amortization table shows how each payment is divided in the principal amount. So when you make an amortization table, it will show you how you're reducing your interest and also how you're paying interest and how your principal amount is going down every payment. With every payment you make, principal amount is going down. Okay. So example they gave you here, we're going to show it to you how it works. So loan is, let's say $2,000. You took a loan from a bank for 5 years, interest rate is 12%. Okay. Payment made at the end of each period. It means ordinary annuity. Look, this is the amortization. This is called amortization table. Okay. So you took $2,000 as your loan. See that? Of $2,000 you are using for how long? You took $2,000 and you are using it for, let's say, 1 year. So 12% interest you have to pay. So $2,000 into 12% interest, $240 your interest. Okay. And you made a payment of $554.82. Okay. Now you can ask me how do we get this number? Okay. So do you get this number from here? How much will be the payment? Like we did in a couple of minutes ago, we have showed you that present value annuity divided by present value interest per annuity. So this is the formula we use and we calculate the payment. Payment is 554.82. That's our payment. Actually, you know, we should actually show you this payment first, then we should show you the table. That would be nicer to actually understand. Okay. How was the regular payment calculated? Yeah. So this is the thing we should show you. Let's take it. The payment is 554.82. You're making the payment every month. Okay. Now you see here, when you make every year you're making a payment of 554.82. So look, you paid 554.82. Out of this 554, 240 is your interest. How much is your principal paid? You already paid $314.82. You paid the principal amount. Out of this $2,000, the $2,000 that loan you have taken, it incurred $240 of interest. You paid that interest, plus you also paid some money towards your principal deduction or principal repayment, which is 314.82. Okay. So for next year, you are not using 2,000 anymore because you already paid 340. So subtract this 314.82, deduct this figure from 2,000. You are actually using 1,600. Like I gave an example a couple of minutes ago, that when you take $30,000 loan, when you make the first payment of $500, $400 is your capital, $100 is your interest. So $400 when you pay the payoff, you are using actually 29,600 next time. That's exactly the same here. That's amortization table we call that. Second year, you're using 1,685.18. Again, 12% interest. It's $202, but your payment is actually 554.80. Again, this time your interest is paid 202. Look, you're reducing your interest payment and you're increasing your capital payment. See that? That's the interesting part. See, interest payment is decreased, but your principal payment is increased.
We also use the FVA table for this table as well.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, do we use a table for it?
No. You have to calculate
no.
it manually. But the payment you can use the table to calculate the payment.
All right, thank you.
How much will be the payment? Okay. How much payment it will be? That time you can use the table to calculate the payment figure. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So when you calculate the payment, 554.82, here's the payment. Yeah. Yes. All right. Any question for me, guys? Yeah. Any question? No. All right. So here are the notes we have. Total interest paid. How much interest you have paid in total? Add them all up. That's the interest you paid in total. Okay. And into payment minus present value annuity equal to finance charges. Principal outstanding amount owing at the time, at any time. So if someone asks you after third payment, how much principal amount is left? This type of question we ask to the bank. So if you're working in a bank or if you're working in some financial institutions, your client gives you a call, some client gives you a call and you can inquiry, you have to put out. So this time we use these things we're going to use actually here. Present value of remaining payments. That's what they're asking for. The principal outstanding at any time. How much money I am owing. So you have to tell them not the future value, but you talk about the present value. Present value of remaining payments. Okay. How much interest in jet payment? So let's say this says that on third payment or fourth payment, okay, how much interest I have to pay? How do you calculate it? So you have to actually go through all this calculation, but nowadays in modern banking system, we have software for calculate this type of software. Yeah, so don't get scared that they will have to, if I work in a financial institution, I will have to do this maths all the time. No, it's a software is there to do this. All right, so now we have another question in here. A loan of 15,000 is to be repaid in equal monthly payment for 3 years. You have taken a loan of $15,000. Let's have a car loan. $50,000 you have taken a car loan, and it will have to be made a payment 3 years, equal monthly. So M equal to 12. Interest rate is 12% per annum compounded monthly. So calculate the payment, the monthly repayment paid at the end of each month. Since this is at the end of each month, we understand which formula to use. It's not the annuity due, it's the annuity, ordinary annuity. Okay. Calculate the principal outstanding at the beginning of second year. Calculate the interest component of the 13th payment. Calculate the overall finance charges, how much interest we have paid. Okay. So 4 things we're going to actually do here. So how to calculate the payment? Same here. Same thing we're going to apply. So present value annuity $15,000. We've taken the loan from the bank for 3 years. M equal to 12 is monthly payment, 12% interest rate. So yes, so you from here found the payment is actually 498.21. That's your payment. 498.21 is your payment. So there are 36 by 24. So after 1 year, beginning of the second year, it means that they have already made payment of 12 payment has been made, because every month they are making the payment. So 3 years time, they are going to make 36 payments. They're going to make 36 payments in 3 years time. So at the beginning of second year or end of first year, okay, how many payments are left? 24 payments are left. Okay, 13th period. Okay. So they said, hence, principal outstanding at beginning of 13th period, how much it will be? Now you apply this formula. Okay. What did we say here? We said here, principal outstanding at any time will be equal to present value of remaining payments. Present value of remaining payments. That's what we're going to calculate. So we're going to calculate the present value of next 24 payments. That's what we're going to actually calculate. So we know the payment. How much is the payment here? In our case example here, the payment is 498.21. So this is our payment. We know PMT. Okay. We have to calculate the present value. So present value formula will be applied here. Okay. So here, payment into the same thing, other things remains the constant, same thing. So you can actually go straight, you can go in here. Look, payment into present value interest per annum. Okay. Yes, this is the case you can actually go. All right. So in this case, if you want to use the formula, I mean the table, you want to use the table, that time we have to make some changes here. What changes you have to make? Look, on this table, this interest rate is done on yearly basis, right? This is 12% interest rate. So monthly interest rate will be 1%. Our table will be this. Make sense? What did I say? Does it make sense to you? What did I just say? I say that 12% interest rate compounded monthly. It means every month you are paying 1% interest. 12 divided by 12% divided by 12. So if you go in here, look, I divided by M. That's what I mean. I is 12%, M is 12. So 12% by 12, it's 1% actually. Okay, look at here, 0.01, 0.01%. So when you want to use this table, 1%, so it will gonna be how many payments? 24 payments. 26.9725. Oh, is it present value? Oh, it is future value. No, we have to put the present value. Present value, 1%. 24, yeah, 22.0232. Present value 1%, 24 payments. Oh, sorry, not 25, 24. Okay. All right. This is gonna be 13th payment. How much payment is outstanding? Okay, so payment is 498.21. So let's do it. Let's go here. this multiplied by this against the payment 498.21. 498.21. 10,583.67. 10,583.67. Make sense? So you have to just use your sense that how it works. Okay, you're going to use the table. I just use the table. I didn't use the formula. I just use the table. For the difference, just I by M. And at the top, 24 is number of years. 12 into 2, 24 payment years. Easy. If it is compounded quarters, you have to find out the interest rate. That's the interesting part. What is the interest rate you have? But if interest rate comes 1.5%, I could have not done it. I could not use this table. I could use this table. But you know what interesting thing is this? We have actually software for this things on internet as well. Look, present value table calculator, present value interest factor calculator, for example. Okay, mini wave tool, Sleek, a lot of them are there. Present interest factor calculators, see, a lot of. Yes. Normally, I get another one they have. Anyway, you can use any of them. So like payment amount, number of months, interest rate percentage. Look, dollars per month. In our case, it was how much was that? 498.21. 498.21, yes. So 498.21. Number of months, 24 months left. It's future value, I have to do the present value, sorry. Interest rate is, let's say, 1%. Future value. In this month. See? But if we calculate not the future value, present value interest rate, for example. Present value calculator. Present value interest calculator. Where is that? Where is that? Where is the calculator actually? Try this one. Yeah. Interest rate 5%. Interest factor they give you. Look, when there's interest factor, that means this number. It's not actually calculated with the payment. Okay. Let's say it's not 5. It's 1.25%. Interest factor will be this. Number of periods, let's say 24. It will be this. With this, it is interest factor annuity. See, when it says the factor, it means it's just giving you the stable figure, this figure. So to multiply it with the payment. Okay. But if we talk about interest, not factor, interest, present value annuity, present value annuity, not interest factor, annuity calculator here. There are lots of calculators out there for these things. Okay. Payment, now here multiply the payment amount. Interest rate, number of years, payment, how much? And yeah, oh yeah, they have a compounding too. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Payment is 498.21. Interest rate is, let's say, 12%. Number of years is, let's say, 2 years. Payment interval is monthly. Let me just figure. See, 10,583.67. Easy. So don't worry about this form. Don't get set up on looking at this form. It's simple. Now, next one. They want to know here, interest in 13th payment will be how much? So the answer is this: 1 divided by m into principal outstanding at beginning of 30th period. How much is outstanding? This much is outstanding, right? Multiply it with I by m. I by m means what? Same. Remember that, like 12% divided by compounded monthly, actually interest rate. That's it. Principal outstanding, beginning of 30th, how much is outstanding? Multiply with the interest rate. If it is yearly interest rate, divided by if it is monthly payment, the interest rate is in year, payment is in month. So bring the interest down to month, divided by 12. Simple. So how much is the finance charges? So this comes in number of payment. Look, n into payment, it means how much you totally paid. For 36 payment you made, each payment is 498.21, that's much you have paid. How much loan you have taken? Simple. Presentable annuity, how much loan you have taken. So you in total you paid 36 into 498.21, that much you have paid in total, minus how much loan you have taken, and this extra you have paid. Any question for me, guys? Any question, anybody? No, all right. Let's move on then. Let me see if I want to go through this things again. What's ordinary perpetuity and deferred annuity? Okay, so we don't have much to right? That actually spend some more time to do. Oh, then we have to actually do some of these problems, these 5 problems we need to complete as well. Okay, I'll do this 5 problems. All right, so let's work on the next topic, ordinary perpetuity. Okay. All right, so this is another example they have given you here. Go through these things. If you don't understand or any questions, just ask me. I'm happy to answer. Perpetuity. Where is perpetuity? Ordinary perpetuities. Here, perpetuity is like forever. A perpetuity is a special type of annuity where payments are made indefinitely and equal to infinity. Okay, so what do we do for an ordinary annuity? This is our payment, this is our formula. But for perpetuity, now this thing is n equal to infinity. When n is equal to infinity, 1 plus I to the power minus n equal to 0. And the present value of a perpetuity will be this. Okay. So payment into present interest factor annuity is infinity. So now if this is the case, now what do we do? This is the value of perpetuity 1 period before the first payment is made. All right, let's have a look on one example. It will become easier for you. What amount present value annuity must an individual invest now if he or she wants a perpetual sequence of payment of $1,000 per month? If not for elderly people, our elderly parents or grandparents, they actually want this thing because they don't know how long they're going to live and they want to see that every month I'm receiving this much of money. So that's the case we actually use this type of things. Okay. He says that here the person wants to have that payment of $1,000 per month. So every month that he or she wants to receive $1,000, and for how long? Infinity. Okay. Where the interest rate is 12% per annum, compounded monthly. Okay. So look, it's very straightforward and simple. Your effective monthly rate is 1%. So payment is $1,000 is the payment. The present value annuity of perpetuity will be 1,000 divided by this. Now you can ask me a question that why is the other part is gone? Because we already mentioned here 1 plus I to the power minus n equal to 0. Okay, that's why it's gone. Okay, 1 I to the power minus n equal to infinity. Let me see if they had put it here. No, they have 25. 25 years they gave them 20%. Yeah. Okay. All right. So in this case, you know, this number is become 0. So this one becoming 0. If this becomes 0, so look, payment into 1 divided by I. It means payment divided by interest rate. That's it. Okay. So payment, so this turns into 0. So this figure is 0. So 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. So payment divided by I. That's all to do formula for partition. The easiest one. Okay, that's what we did. Yeah. Okay. Into 1 minus 1 plus I to the power minus n, which is equal to 0. Okay. Deferred annuity. Okay, deferred annuity says an annuity for which the first payment is deferred relative to an ordinary annuity is commonly called a deferred annuity. What do they mean? So they gave an example here. We give an example here. An individual buys a new computer on credit. Okay? They purchase a new computer on credit, like zip payment, afterpay, or whatever it is, by borrowing the money needed and agrees to pay for it by making 15 equal monthly installments of $200. Okay. With the first installment to be made 3 months after the day of the purchase. See? It's not like they are making the payment on the first month. Like, you know, when they make the payment on the first month, we need to look. Well, if you're making the payment for the first month, the issue will come up as this way. Is it beginning of the month or is end of the month? Beginning of the month, ordinary annuity. I'm sorry, annuity due. End of the month, ordinary annuity. But in this case, they said, no, I want to make the payment starting from 3rd month. Make sense? That's why you call it deferred. Okay. First payment is deferred, and it is to an ordinary annuity. It means after the 3rd month, in the 3rd month, they start the payment. Okay. 3 months after the day of the purchase. If interest is charged on the loan at the rate of 9% per annum compounded monthly, what is the purchase price of this computer? Okay, what is the purchase price of the computer? So $200 they are making payments every month. Okay, but they're going to start making payment after 3rd month. So 15 equal monthly installments. Okay, so this says, yeah, don't forget to draw the timeline. Okay. Okay, so I actually should draw the timeline here. I think I'll take the timeline here. We have a timeline in here. Yeah, the payment is not on 1. The payment is see, that's the case. Payment is 1 3. Okay. Yeah. In this case, compared to ordinary annuity, the first payment is deferred 2 months. So it's at the end of 2 months, like 3rd month, they can actually make the payment. Okay. First, work out the value of 2 months after the purchase date of this. So you have to now look the first 2 months, they're actually keeping the money for whole 2 months. First, work out the value of 2 months after the purchase date of ordinary annuity with the first payment at the end of 3 months after the purchase date. So let's look at here. Payment is $200 is the payment. $200 is the payment. And interest rate will be 9% per annum. So since they're making payment monthly, divided by 12, so interest rate will be 0.0075, which means 0.75%. Number of n is 12. 15, and it's 15 months, 15 equal installments. So value of annuity 2 months after purchase date. Value of annuity 2 months after the purchase date. 1 month before the first payment. So what we are doing here, we're actually doing it. Look at here, 200 into 1 minus this. So this is actually payment. We're trying to calculate here the future values in here. Okay, what is the future value? So this must be discounted after 2 periods to obtain the purchase price. So how are we going to actually discount the 2 periods? That's the interesting part. Okay. So in this case, we're discounting a 2-part with this. That's how you discount it. Divided by 1 plus I to the power n. And here is 2. This n will be how many times you want to defer, how much you want to defer in this n. Okay, how many times you want to defer. Everything remains the same. If you want to calculate the how much the purchase price will be, that can be discounted by. In that case, you'll get a little bit higher figure because too much interest will be also be there. Okay. Yeah, so that's all we got in here for today. Any question for me, guys? Any question for me? Anyone? No? All right. If no question you got, then let's start with this problem to solve. Okay. So let me actually copy these problems. 5 questions we have here. 6 of 2. Let me solve this. So the 5, 6 questions we have, let's solve them. At the beginning of financial year, the market value of a share is $10. Okay, market value of a share is $10. If at the end of the year the share gives a dividend of 50 cents and has a market value of $10.50, what is the return on this asset over the year? What is the return on this asset over the year? So let's calculate this way. We'll say that I actually work with an equation mainly. All right, so I'll be working mainly on equation to solve this type of questions mainly. Okay. So it says here that our price is equal to how much? $10. Okay. Which year? At the beginning. So we can say here that here we say that P2 is equal to 10. Okay, and we'll also say that P2 plus 1. Okay. You can say, or we can say PT is equal to, you can say PT current time is less than 50, and this one is T minus 1. You understand this? What does this T and T minus 1 mean? All right. So PT means current, today, and T minus 1 means last year. If T is equal to, let's say, if it is calculated yearly, it's last year. If it is a last month, so T is equal to this month, T minus 1 means last month. T plus 1 means next month. Okay, that's how we use this in finance. Okay, and we have here 50 cents. Okay, so 50 cents is our dividend. This dividend is given here. DT. Our dividend for current month is actually 50 cents. That will be 50 cents. So now we have to calculate the rate of return. Okay. So rate of return is equal to this R is RT is equal to RT is equal to PT minus here. Current years PT minus 1 minus 1 plus dividends DT. Plus DT divided by how much you have invested. How much you have invested. So we have invested actually $10. So PT minus 1. This is our formula. What did we do? We are actually finding out here how much price has increased. So PT minus P minus this one, which means our how much price has increased. I would like to put it into a bracket. Let's put it in a bracket. So PT minus 1, this is in a bracket. That's our price has increased. So it was $10. Now it's $10.50. So 50 cents my price has increased of a share I have purchased. That's my gain. Plus how much dividend I have received. I have received also 50 cents. I received my dividend as well. So it means $1 I have received in total. How much I invested? I invested $10. So 10 by 1 by 10, which will be 10%. Okay, is equal to PT is actually our 10.50 and PT minus 1 is actually our 10. And DT is actually our 50 cents, 0.50, and PT minus 1 is actually again our $10. Okay, is equal to, we can say here 1 divided by 10. That's it. Is equal to 0.1. Any question for me, guys? Any question? No?
Nope.
Right. Let's move on then. Don't hesitate to ask me a question, please. Okay, please don't hesitate to ask me a question. The next one is they're talking in here an amount of 12,000. Okay, so an amount of 12,000. What did they say here? Is invested in a bank account for 2.5 years. The account pays interest of 6% per annum, compounded monthly for the first 18 months, then 7% per annum compounded monthly for 1 year. How much is in the account at the end of this time if no withdrawal are made? So 1.5 years, okay, 6%, and then next 1 year, 7%. Interest rate has increased. Okay, in that situation, how much will you get? Okay, all right, let's do it. So in this case, you have to consider two statements, right? One is the future value at 6% interest rate. Another one is future value at 7% interest rate. Okay, and the monthly rate. Okay, the monthly rate will be monthly rate, compounded monthly, both the time compounded monthly. Okay, so I will say this way: future value. Okay. So two future value we have here. One is 6%. Another one is 7%. Okay. So this one I would say is equal to, okay, present value into present value then into 1 plus 1 plus I divided by M whole to the power mn, right? 1 plus I, we will say I 1, because we have two interest rates we have, right? We have two interest rates we have. One is 6%, other is 7%. So first one is, let's say, 6% divided by n. Okay. And this whole thing will have a power of m into n, right? M multiplied by n. This is our formula. Okay, that's our formula. So here, let's go, is equal to our present value is how much? $12,000. 12,000. 1 plus I1 is how much? 6%, right? 0.06 divided by M monthly 12 to the power M into N. 18 months, they said already, right? They already said I mean 18 months, so we don't have to do 18 into something else. Instead, you can put 18. We are doing it 18 months. Okay. The answer will be equal to what? The answer will be equal to 13,127.15. That's the one. Okay. Now, if we do the same thing for present value, future value for T. Okay. I2. Okay. For the second case, okay, our present value is not 12,000 anymore. It will become this 13,127.15. Here. Okay. After 18 months, this much money we have. Now they have to pay us interest on this much money. 1 plus 0 plus 6 should be 7. It's 12 months, that's okay, because it's monthly interest rate, 12 by 12%. But here it will be only 12 payments. Okay. How much it will be? 14,076. That's it. Okay. Does this one make sense to you guys? What I did here? Why 13,127 I put? Because after 18 months, interest rate is increased to 7%. All right. Number 3. Find the interest rate and interest earned over 3 years on investment of 3,000 paying simple interest of 7.5% per annum. This is silly one. You guys can do this one. You guys really want me to do this one? 3,000 into 1 plus I, 7.5% for 3 years to the power n. Very simple. Okay. I can do it actually. Interest on will be equal to present value. Let's put it in a formula. Present value multiplied by I multiplied by T. Okay. Is equal to present value is how much? 3,000 multiplied by interest rate is 7.5%, 0.075 multiplied by 3 years, which is equal to, the answer should be equal to here, 675. So done. Okay. Number 4. Let's take it to the next page. For the following investments, find the compound amount, future value, and the total interest earned. Assume no interest is withdrawn before the term of investment is reached. For the following investments, find the compound amount, future value, and total interest earned. How much interest is there? So how much will be the future value and how much interest has been earned? Assume no interest is withdrawn before the term of investment is reached. So they didn't withdraw any money from there. Okay. All right. So let's do it. In this problem, our present value is, how much is the present value? $10,000. $10,000, 6 years, 5%. 6,000, 4 years, and 6 months, 9% quarterly. Okay. Then 5,000, 2 years, 10% compound daily. Okay. 265. Okay. All right. So first one will be, future value will be how much? So we'll say future value is equal to present value into 1 plus I. Close. To the power equal to, how much it will be? 10,000 into 1 plus I is 5% compounded annually. Okay. So 5% will be 0.05. Okay. To the power 6 years, right? So we'll be calculating the answer. Answer will be 13,496. So how much interest has been earned? That is future value, compounded value. How much interest has been earned? So 13,000 is minus 10,000, 3,400. Earned is equal to 13,400.96 minus 10,000 equal to 3,400.96. That's it. Okay. All right. Number 2. 6,000 over 4 years, 6 months, earning 9% compounded quarterly. So we have to find out how many quarters are here involved here. Okay. We're gonna do this one now. All right. So let's do it. Same formula. But we have to adjust here MN. Okay. So future present value into 1 plus I by M. That's what we're going to do. I divided by M. And N will be actually M. N. Okay, that's all. Now let's go. Okay. This is the formula. Okay. Plug and play again. Is equal to same thing. Do the plug and play here. So our present value is how much? This is $6,000. 6,000 into 1 plus I is equal to 9%. So this is 0.09. And this is quarterly. M equal to 4. M is equal to 4. And they say 4 years and 6 months. Right? How many quarter in there? 4 years and 6 months? M is equal to 4. Yes, M equal to 4. N will be
4.5.
yeah, N will be 4.5. Exactly. Thank you very much. You got the point. Multiplied by 4.5. Perfect. Thank you. That should be that. Okay. So this is equal to, answer should be equal to how much? 8,955.52. Okay, that's what is your future value. How much interest has been earned? Same thing. That's your future value. Interest earned will be this minus how much to pay? 6,000. So it will be 2,955.52. Okay. Done. That's number two. Number three, $5,000 over 2 years, earning 10% compounded daily. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's fine. We got the same thing we're going to do here. Just M will be 365. Okay, compounded daily, right? Perfect. So it's 5,000. NetBank give us these things, right? In the Commonwealth Net Saver, they do this to compounded daily. It's 5,000. 1 plus I is how much? This is 10%, right? It should be 0.10, 10%. M is the same. How many days? 365. So 365 for how many? 2 years. So M will be 365 multiplied by.
Multiplied
Somebody
by
write it at 730. I have no problem. I'm okay with that. That's it. Answer is equal to. If you someone writes 730 straight, I understand. I have no problem to understand that. I get that. Answer is here how much? 6,106.85. That's it. Interest earned. How much interest has been earned? Very simple. So
So
these minus 5. Oh, so 5,000. 5,000 and reality is 6,106. 6.85. 6. Four. Find the present value of 8,000 due to 5 years in. Now is not the future. Now it's not present value. Okay. The present value formula is different than future value formulas. All right. So two comes up. Now we don't do the future value, we do the present value. Future value, but these mn will not be mn anymore, it will be minus n. Okay, that's it. No? So it's gonna be equal to same way.
So it'll be equal to 8,000.
I'm sorry.
It'll be equal to 8,000 times.
Yeah.
One.
Exactly. You're right. Very right. 8,000.
So
1
one
plus I
drop.
is 10%. So which is actually 0.10.
And then 12.
Yeah, divided by per annum compounded monthly, so it will be 12. To the power for how many years? 5 years. It will be 60 actually, so you understand that. So 12 multiplied by 5. The answer will be equal to 4,862.3. How much interest has been earned? Yeah.
So 8,000 minus
So present value, we're
8,000.
not going to actually talk about interest here because we're talking about present, we're not talking about future values. So how much interest has been earned? So we have to actually do 8,000 minus this, that much interest will be earned. Right? You can say that. If they invest, that time they will earn that much interest, okay? But since you're calculating present value, what is the value at this moment? So yeah. Four, 8, 6, 2. Okay. How much it will be? $3,137 and 69. That much interest can be earned. Can be earned. Don't say it's earned already. No, we're talking about present values. It can be earned, potential interest. All right, done. The last one. That's the number 5. Number 6, last question here. All right, an amount of 6,000 is invested. Okay, an amount of 6,000 is invested for a period of 6 years. Okay, and earns interest at the rate of 12% per annum compounded monthly. What is the effective annual rate of interest earned on the investment? Okay, so the formula here is equal to this. After EAR, okay, is equal to, let me do this. Equal to 1
plus I over M.
yeah, I over M
all to the power of m minus 1.
Yeah, all to the power of n minus 3. Brackets to the power of n.
Minus 1.
So what will be the answer? Yeah, it's 12%. So it's gonna be 0.12, and m is equal to 12.
بكره ما في شتاء. Oh shit.
Minus 1 is equal to 0.1266, which is equivalent to equivalent to 68%. Okay. Any question for me, guys? Anything for me? No? Okay, if you don't have any more question to ask me, then I think I will close it here. All right. Now let's do our attendance then. I think I should stop recording now.